Don't stop me now, because my opinions on Bohemian Rhapsody wanna break free. So if you couldn't tell from my incredibly terrible forced in pun, it is a review of Bohemian Rhapsody. Now I know it's just a tad little bit late coming over to this channel, but I kind of was a bit like, do I make one or don't I make one? And then kind of I've seen a lot of hate for this film and a lot of love for this film, so I kind of just wanted to weigh in and clearly say what my opinion is, because many of you wanted one. So don't stop me now, because I'm about to review Bohemian Rhapsody and I want to put in a lot of puns throughout this, so good luck. So the director of this film is Bryan Singer. Now I don't really know him and know any of his work, but the cast, of course I know the cast. It consists of Rami Malek as Freddie, and he is outstanding, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. Then you have Lucy Boynton, who plays Mary, and then you have Gillian Lee, who I think plays Brian May, and then you have Joseph Mazziello, who plays Deaky, and then of course you have my one and only, and he is now the love of my life. See, that's all I'm going to be doing, is Ben Hardy, who plays Roger Taylor, the drummer. So the narrative of this whole film, as you can guess, is Queen and how they started up. It focuses a lot on Bohemian Rhapsody and how that was created, as well as Freddie. Now I said to many of my friends and people who want to watch this that the second act and towards like the start of the third act is kind of Freddie. It's more like a Freddie movie in that kind of section. It's bookended by Live Aid, so it starts off with Live Aid, them about to walk on stage, and then it kind of ends with the Live Aid, the iconic performance of Queen. So it kind of gives you the journey up to Live Aid. And if you're a Queen fan like me, who didn't really know the backstory of like how they started up, it's actually really quite interesting now, and how they experimented with their music and how they did different things, like Roger Taylor doing the Galileos in Bohemian Rhapsody. I never knew that, and it just gives you a new appreciation for Queen. Now the music was incredible in this. Now again, as I said, I'm a Queen fan, so I'm probably a little bit biased that anything Queen I will listen to, but I feel that they blended in Rami Malek's voice and Freddie Mercury's voice seamlessly together, because I do think they had incorporated the original into this kind of like the Rami Malek song and like how he sang, but I think that how they blended it in was just lovely, and it wasn't like him lip syncing, which I kind of thought going in might be an issue of him just lip syncing to it, and it's very obvious that he's lip syncing, but other than that it was pretty much seamlessly done and I just loved it. Now I liked the aesthetics of this. I do understand that it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I personally quite liked it. Now maybe it wasn't consistent in its style. I do think sometimes it kind of just did something for the sake of doing it, but sort of like, I can name a few things that people may be a bit like, ew, that's horrible, but I kind of just think it adds to Queen, because Queen wasn't conventional. They were quirky, they were different, they were trying different things, and I think this film lends it to that sort of thing with the different quirky sort of styles, and I think like it kind of adds to how Queen didn't stick to one thing. It was very creative, they were different, they went into different like places with the music, and this film goes into different places stylistically, and actually I just come up with that in my head and it makes perfect sense as to why, but I can understand why it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really liked watching it and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. So although I love this film, I kind of understand why there's a lot of criticism in this film. I think the Jim Hutton and Freddie love story was a little bit tagged on at the end, but then I suppose restrictions on time, and it was kind of like a Queen biopic, it wasn't just a Freddie one, so maybe if it was just a Freddie one they would have delved deeper into it. I can understand why there's a lot of controversy around how it just kind of thrown in at the end, like, oh yeah, you remember this guy, you know, ha, sort of thing. I do think that. So leading on from that, there's a lot of complaints about how Freddie's sexuality is represented in this film, and I do understand to a certain extent, but I do kind of go, I kind of said to many people who said, oh, it's homophobic and stuff, I went, well, it doesn't hammer home on Freddie's life, and don't get me wrong, it's very, it's touched upon, but it's kind of like, just like a hint, look, he touched his hand, it's kind of a bit like that. But then I feel like if you look at the production of this film, like Sacha Baron Cohen, I can't say his name, I'm probably saying it wrong, but he was in talks to be Freddie, and he left because the production company didn't want to dive deeper into Freddie's sexuality. So if you look at that, you can understand that actually they may have been restricted in what they could put about Freddie's life. So this sexuality aspect may have been kind of like restricted by the company, so they're not going to be able to do that. So when writing the narrative, they were very restricted in how they could represent Freddie's sexuality. So I do think if you look to sort of like the production of this film, that they did try and do this, however it was just kind of, they were very restricted. So my overall thoughts on this film is that I'm a Queen fan. Now I'm not like a Queen fan, but like I was brought up on Queen. I love their music. I will sing to the high heavens on Bohemian Rhapsody and Killer Queen. But this film introduced me to a whole new sort of array of music. But like Fat Bottom Girls and Keep Yourself Alive, those songs I've never heard of before, and they're like one of my favourite songs now. I'm like singing it every single day. Like I've got it on my phone and I'm walking down the street like bam, and I just had a whole new appreciation for their music. And for a Queen fan, I was sitting there in the cinema on the second time and on the first time watching this, having to physically sit on my hands so I didn't do the, and I could see other people in the cinema were literally the same as me. So I just want to quickly touch on the actors. As I said in the cast, the acting is amazing in this. Now, Lucy Boynton, who plays Mary, is just incredible in this, and she's beautiful and stunning, and she's just amazing, and I love her. And then kind of Diki's character, who's played by Joseph Mazziello, butchered that name probably. He's incredible, but I don't think he had much to do in the narrative. He was kind of like the butt of the joke kind of person a lot of the time. But then if you kind of look at the production aspect of this, Roger Taylor himself and Brian May were heavily involved in the production of this film, so I think they kind of were a little bit biased as to who gets more screen times. I wanted to quickly just touch upon how much I love Ben Hardy in this, and he plays Roger Taylor and he looks beautiful in a blonde wig, and for some reason I just adore him, and now he's like one of my celebrity crushes. But besides that, I just want to quickly say about Rami Malek, and I'm obsessed with his performance of Freddie. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, my Twitter name is literally Rami Malek for Best Actor, and I stand by that completely because he completely transformed into Freddie at the end of the film. I was watching this going, I know Freddie is dead, but God, is this actually Freddie? Like, honestly, it's just, you can tell that Rami Malek really wanted to play Freddie and pay homage to who he was. He's such an iconic person. Everyone knows that moustache, that armband, the glasses, everything. And he played that so well. It could have gone so bad with the prosthetics and the wigs. To quote Dan Morrill, it could have been a teeth and wigs kind of biopic, and at the start the wigs aren't really the greatest. But I do think that Rami Malek's performance, especially throughout the whole film, he completely transformed into Freddie at the end of the film, and every single like nuance, his stage presence was so incredible for this. But I want him to be nominated for an Oscar. But again, to refer back to Screen Junkies, Dan Morrill and Rolf Cornett said how he probably won't get an Oscar nomination. At most, he may just get a BAFTA one, because Queen's Story is a British sort of bred story. We will probably be a little bit more biased and give him at least a BAFTA nomination for Best Actor. So guys, another one bites the dust. Bohemian Rhapsody has been reviewed by me, by Meg Embers. Oh, such a tragedy. But yes, so that's my review for Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, I understand that many of you guys and many of the critics have got like very conflicting arguments about this film. Like literally the Rotten Tomatoes score is on the cuff of being rotten. It's on 60%. If it's on 59%, it will be rotten. So yeah, it's obviously a very divisive film, and I've talked to many of you guys already on my opinion on this film. So please, if you have gone and watched this film, let me know what you thought. You can do that by going down in the comments down below, or you can go on my social media. The links are in the description below. Please tell me I wasn't the only one that had to sit on their hands, like I said before, because I don't want to be the only one that did that. But anyway, guys, goodbye everybody. I've got to go. I can't sing. Gonna leave you all behind to face the truth. Bye guys. Wait, I should get a hairbrush. Ba-ba. Ooh, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I don't wanna die. I'm gonna